Hello everyone, St.Paddy here, and yeah, this is a little bit much, but anyway, welcome to a special St. Patrick's Day review. Yep, St. Patrick's Day is upon us, meaning we celebrate all things Irish by wearing green, searching for a four-leaf clover, and learning that St. Patrick wasn't even a saint, or Irish. Ah, so now you're gonna review some St. Patrick's Day stuff. It's about time. There's like plenty to go over. Well, based on my criteria, there isn't a lot of animated or special effects shows for the holiday, and most of the ones mentioned have either leprechauns, have Irish myth and culture, or just take place in Ireland. Oh, I'm sure you'll find one, even if it's not considered for the holiday. Well, I did manage to find one that has all three subjects I mentioned. Oh, that's real nice. And it's a Looney Tunes short. Really? You're gonna review something that's under 10 minutes? 'Cause you never done anything like that. But what else should I review in the short amount of time I have to make this? Maybe something a little longer, or having more than one cartoon. Look, I'm doing whatever I want to, okay? Oh, fine, I'll just be off. Yes, I'm reviewing a Looney Tunes cartoon that's technically not only a St. Paddy's Day show, but it's also one I watch every year. Or one of very few. Directed by Chuck Jones, or credited as Charles M. Jones, it is the final short to star Porky Pig in a leading role. Wearing of the Grin. Porky Pig, who's been traveling in Ireland, gets caught in a rainstorm on his way to Dublin town. He decides to spend the night in a castle run by Seamus O'Toole, who warns Porky about the leprechauns and that they reside in the castle. Yet Porky doesn't believe in leprechauns and gets knocked out by a mace hung over the door. Seamus, who turns out to be a leprechaun and is really named O'Pat, is the top half of Seamus, while the bottom half is another leprechaun named O'Mike. Fearing Porky's going to take their pot of gold, the two leprechauns take Porky to trial, accuse him of stealing the gold, and sentence him to wear green shoes. Now this is a cartoon that not a lot of people talk about and is pretty underrated for both Chuck Jones and Looney Tunes. But for me, I just find it to be alright. I mean, it's not all bad, for there are a few good things about it. The expressions on the characters are sometimes funny, as well as a few gags. The animation, especially within the climax, is kind of enjoyable. And the leprechauns make for some interesting obstacles for Porky, and this is the only cartoon they're featured in. But they do make an appearance in Space Jam as background characters, and their designs are featured in an episode of Tiny Toons. The climax is something creative, despite how short it is. Porky's given the green shoes, which makes him dance for a long time, and even when Porky tries to avoid wearing them, the shoes follow him, and he goes through many leprechaun-related things, like the trees are pipes, gold coins rain down on him, and he gets his hands cuffed in a harp. But the final scene left me with a lot of confusion. When Porky falls into a pot of golden water, the shot fades to Porky on the floor all wet, showing that all that had happened was just a dream, and the gold water was just Seamus with a pail of water. Porky decides to leave thinking Seamus is a leprechaun and all that, but even when Seamus says all that Porky says is not true, it's revealed that the leprechaun part is actually true. But since that's the case, then what if all that has happened to Porky is true? Were the leprechauns playing with Porky's mind? Did they do anything to him? Did Porky just dream all of this? There's no indication when this all started aside from Porky getting hit on the head with a mace. So overall, despite watching this every St. Patrick's Day, the final conclusion is what made me see it as an alright short. There's plenty of good things being a Chuck Jones and Looney Tunes cartoon, but the ending left me questioning the entire short, and while it still bothers me, the rest of it I can let pass. As a whole, this cartoon is alright. The characters are fine, the story is okay, and the animation is good. Director Chuck Jones had done a fine job of making a Porky Pig cartoon with leprechauns in it, but its story has a bit of confusion, mainly with its ending, and at times making little sense. Yet as a Looney Tunes cartoon, or reissued as a Merry Melody in this case, it has a few funny moments and it gives me a smile when I watch it every St. Paddy's Day. It's rarely talked about and could use more attention as being partly a holiday cartoon, but that's just how I feel. It's not one of the best Looney Tunes shorts, but it's definitely an okay one. So today, this cartoon will be getting a rating of 2.5+ stars. So thank you for joining me. Like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Facebook or Twitter, support me on Patreon, And tune in next time for a new video. Oh, and have a happy St. Patrick's Day.